Good morning. Once again, back in the saddle. Hey, Tom. I have a job prospect in China. Hey, MSA, good day. Tom, do tell, do tell. For a hedge fund. I'm sorry. But then again, it'll pay. Oh, it's 5 days in the office for a hedge fund. Hey, if it's what you want to do and if it pays and it's all sounds right. Go for it. All right, I'm spacing out here. That's the back of the leg, which means it'll probably be doing something kind of like that. So it's mostly going to be seen on the back. Okay, great. Oh, more mercy. We got everybody coming through. Hey, Tony, how you doing? How's the hand? Morning. It's a 35% pay increase and a bigger bonus. Whew, nice. I must say, Tony, that sounds grand, man. So you in on that? Said make sure Emma is okay with going to aftercare 5 days a week. Yeah. That's the tough one, Tom, right there. Dealing with the kids. Do okay, get stitches out today. Oh, today's Wednesday, man. I gotta tell you, I'm a little spun out. Sorry, man. Kind of happy about that. Should be more than happy about that. Tony, how's your mom doing? I have the interview Thursday, and if I pass in person. Oh, yeah, okay. So I'm assuming it's a Zoom call interview, and then if you pass that, then it's in person. Got it. Time to go out and get yourself like a nice Keaton shirt. You know, some nice expensive slacks to match. Maybe a couple Church's shoes. Okay, mom is feeling better after the new med was received. Yeah, that's good. Glad to hear that. Only thing is if they are flexible on me possibly leaving early on 2 days, like leaving 3 p.m. See what they say. You know, theoretically, should be able to make something happen. I'm assuming whoever they hire, they're going to have more than one of you. Take Emma on vacation, dude. With that pay, I can get the oh, and take Emma on vacation. Priorities, Tom. Small shop, like 45 employees. Yeah, but it also tells you how much hedge funds make. Hedge funds, capitalism at its finest. Yeah, hedge funds make bank. Yes, they do. Anyway, Tom, I'm not denigrating or anything like that. I wish you all the best, honestly. Curious why new CTO and he is there for only 5 months. There's nothing wrong with asking those questions during the meeting. Obviously, this is a livelihood change for you. This you have to make sure it works out. So knowing those answers to those questions is huge. You know. I hope everybody had a good couple days. Back today. Hey, Joe, good morning. Joe. It will be back in to do everything grind, but I wonder how they are treating their workers are. So again, obviously with that kind of a position, then there's going to be an increase in responsibility. And sometimes those guys, they take a certain attitude. You'll figure it out, Tom. I mean, again, I'm assuming with 35% increase, it's going to come at some kind of an expense. This is your 218th stream. Is it really? I've done 218. That doesn't sound right. I've only been on YouTube for what, 6 months? March? Yeah. Doesn't seem right. Maybe it's right. Now, if we're talking about overall, no, then we're definitely shy. 6 years. Oh, it's more than 218. 5.5 years, Joe. But who's counting? We'll keep them in the dark. Feel where I am now isn't good. Yeah. Well, sometimes it's better than to just out of the frying pan into the fire. And what's the worst that happens? If you don't like that, find something else, right, Tom? I think that's the one big benefit to what's going on in today's world, and why it's like I'm getting tired of hearing about, oh, kids don't want to work. I had an interesting conversation yesterday with the nurse. She made an interesting observation that people today don't want to work. And I don't think that that's right. I think they want to get paid a lot more and work in jobs that make a ton more money, and the work is a lot better. Hedge funds is an example. You can make a whole lot of coin. I'm not saying people there don't work, but you can make a lot more coin doing that than, say, even being a doctor. About 218. I mean, it's 1 or 2. Finding a fully remote job would be really nice, though. I bet it would. Kids yearn for the mines. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what they seem to be asking for, right? What's going on, Ken? Good morning. No, but I think it's like, look, kids, if kids are kind of taking it upon themselves now to not necessarily want to work, it's because what are they being shown? all this money, all these celebrities making all this money, and the assumption that it's pretty easy, right? Doesn't take much to be an actor. Doesn't take much to be a basketball player. You just and the ability to just say, you know what, but some people got to just kind of knuckle down. And also, I think there's a concept that, you know what, I can go in to become a hedge fund manager. I can go into finance. Why would I want to go and become a doctor? God, a lot more work. Yes, it pays well, but not I can make more money and work less. So that whole concept seems to be changing. The pay disparity between jobs needs to be rethought. Gee, that sounds awfully socialist, Tom. I'm not disagreeing with you. I think it does too. Let's see, getting paid $16 an hour versus $1,000 while the work is only 120% difference. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Politics night tomorrow? Probably. I think so. I don't think my wife's in town. I got to double check. I think she's out of town. My older daughter will be at Derby. So I think the answer is yes. So I'm not part socialist. Yeah. Hey, and I'm not saying I don't believe in capitalism. I've always believed in capitalism. I just believe it needs to be moderated by socialism. Anyway. It has to be tempered. There has to be kind of like the Ben and Jerry's model. You have to have a cap as to where things go. Otherwise, yeah. Otherwise, you start losing farmers. Otherwise, you start losing, the important. Why is it that I've now got to go 2 blocks to go get my Starbucks as opposed to a block? They can't afford to keep that place open because they can't get employees. How's her wrist or arm? Her elbow. Thank you for asking, Tom. She's going back, I think, next week. And if the doctor says all's good, she gets back on skates. It's gonna work hand in hand with those. 100. I couldn't agree more, Tom. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, we make them an either or, and the answer is it doesn't have to be. What's your rarest item? My children. My wife, my family. There's only one of them. Steve Colbert played My Boyfriend's Back when the news. Oh, yeah. By the way, I'm just going to say it. Did anybody watch Kimmel last night? Just his opening monologues, which is about 28 minutes long. I watched it this morning. Fabulous. I don't care what side of the political spectrum you're on. It was fabulous. Let's see. Dwayne, good morning. What's going on, man? Still says acting. They can say anything they want. Say anything they want. Other than your family. I don't value possessions. Whatever value I have. I mean, it's okay. Well, I'm going to give you a little primer on George's view on the monetary value of something, because I'm assuming you're asking about monetary value. Dwayne values his teeth. Yes, he does. I do. Need some more work too. I value my life. I value the life of other people. Massing off. Oiling. Oh, they're oiling. Dwayne, when are you wrapping up the model? Teeth are expensive. We're not going down the medical expense thing. We're not going down that route. That's where capitalism is failing. So MSA. Here's George's thought on it. Let us assume for a second you had what's a good example? Detective Comics 27. Okay. For anybody who doesn't know what that is, Detective Comics 27 was the first issue in which Batman appeared back in 1938, if I'm correct. Tara will give a good deal. Yeah, right. I wish you would. He bought in Craigslist. Yeah. Okay. What's your rarest model? All right, we'll talk about that in a second. So let's say you had Detective Comics 27, right? What's the value of that comic? Well, what the book says is this, but if you own it and it doesn't move, it's valueless. There's only value in transaction. So your owning stuff is valueless. George's take on it. I'm not sure that makes economic sense to most people. I don't care, but that's how it works for me. So I've got a pretty sizable comic collection. I'm looking forward to someday douching it off. What's the value of it? I don't know. Right now, 0 because it's just sitting in boxes. He needs new teeth. He's got to. Oh boy, does he ever! That's my problem, Tom. My teeth are messed up. Yeah, the base that's coming to PACON is not its final base. That's okay. Dwayne, are you putting it on the competition table or are you putting it on the display only? Do you read Marvel Comics? I will answer by saying I read Marvel Comics. I have not read comics in about 15 years. I read an occasional comic here and there, but I haven't consistently read comics in over a decade. And when I was reading comics as a kid, through the late 70s and through the mid 90s, then I would read Marvel, DC, all the independents. In fact, as I've told people in the past, one of them actually, I sold part of my collection and it helped me pay for a semester of college. My daughter. Display only, probably. Okay, let me be the judge of that. You show me and I'll tell you if it goes on a table. Let the judge decide whether you should be judged. All the ones he shipped out to people. Yes, I would say so. The ones I have given to other people. Why? Because they have taken advantage of them and enjoyed them. I hope they did at least. I gave away a lot of models at one point. Almost finished the Wildcat. Nice. Who's your favorite from Marvel? Me personally, the Hulk. From Marvel? And I'm not saying this to ignore the question. I'm so burned out on anything to do with the Marvel universe. So burned out, I couldn't even tell you. Yeah, I don't really have a favorite anymore because to me, it's like it's all just. I've little interest in Marvel comics anymore. Now, if you want to talk about do I have a favorite comic series right now, I would say probably would be The Boys. Now, that's not the only one, but I've enjoyed that comic series on TV, and I've been reading the comic on spurts. Just need to finish Decals. Got to finish the Decals, Weathering and Topcoat. Nice. Yeah, you were spoiled. That's the best run of comics, hands down. They were good times. A lot of great stuff. What was that? I forget. There wasn't like the Platinum Age of comics. Got a new fishing pole so I can dedicate one to just kites. Nice, Ray. Fishing them out of trees. Morning, everyone. Morning, Mike. How are you? Ray, fishing pole for kites. The Boys. That's valid. I started reading the comic. I got through half of it. I would say one of my favorite comics of all time. When Garth Ennis was doing Hellblazer, I love that series. That was great. I would say, and the only comic as I start pulling comics aside, what I'm going to keep and what I'm going to get rid of, the only comic series right now that I'm definitely keeping is Cerebus. Cerebus the Aardvark. Tom, I'm always, winding this brings up. That's genius. That's how we fly kites. Go fishing for them afterward. Nice. All right, let's get a piece of plastic down here. Okay. .4 by 6. Let's see where this puts us. Let's get an 11 so it'll be extra fun. Nice. Have you read Dead Redemption? I have not. Like I said, I've gone to comic stores infrequently. You know, I would say the only things I have been reading more recently are manga. I've been reading like the I could do that. Yeah, I could do that. I've been reading oh God. Can't believe I'm spacing out on it. The Thunder, whatever it is called now. On site 5 days will cut bench time. It just means that when you're on the bench, time will be more precious. George was smiled at me. 9 inches. We're going to need a dwarf. Nice. George, needing any styrene restock. We are closing out a lot of the You're closing out the evergreen rack? Why is that, Mike? Dragon Ball? No, I don't do. I don't. Never got into Dragon Ball. I saw it back in the '80s. I'm like, oh, it's nice, but never my cup of tea. Manga's worth more to me, much more quality. That splash of comics. Yes and no. I've read bad manga. I've watched bad anime. I could cut that area out and then build something out. Oh, they don't sell. Our best customer lives in Holden, Mass. Mike, I would suggest if you're blowing that stuff out, bring as much as you can. I know that takes up a lot of space, but bring some of that stuff up. I don't think I have any specific stuff, except I might need a sheet of the like a wallboard. Like I forget what they call it, but basically just like a siding panel. But I don't know what scale it is, so I haven't been able to see if I need one for a diorama. Actually, this one here. This is multiple variant covers. My George will take the rack. No, I don't want the rack. I'm not there to buy enough. I know, dude. Most of this stuff up here, all the stuff. I mean, there's shit ton of it. And as you know, I use this stuff. I love this stuff. Mike's hooked me up. Never seen the UHF. Bring the whole rack to pack on. Yes. Give George paper, blah. Mike, I can look into it and see what size I will need. I think we're going to cut a piece of this. How much time I got? 20 minutes. Let's see if this works. I may need to go to a thicker size. Actually, I think I will go to a thicker size. I don't think 0.4 is going to be enough. In fact, you know what? All right, this is what I'm quandarying. If you see that little bump out right at the bottom there, it ain't a lot to bring those wires into. So the question is, how far out do I bring it out? And I think it's going to be substantive. Looking at that right there, that's less than a millimeter, maybe half a millimeter. That's just stupid. I want to bring it out. Let's see. How big is that wire? 0.85. 1.5 will certainly do it. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to grind that down and replace. So I'll put the plow away for the moment. You take the there, right? But we don't plan on taking a lot of it. If not, to pack on definitely. Oh yeah, Mike, bring as much of it as you can, and I can guarantee you. And I will talk to people and mention it to them. Now's your time to get into some blah. Just don't buy the shit that I need. I may just buy half the stock. Look at that. I wish someone carried evergreen around me. I don't understand how they don't. If you own a scale model shop, and I'm not blaming the model shop owners. I just don't understand. How can people not do stuff, make modifications? There's got to be at least a few people who do that. Get all the way out, dig into more. Yeah, I think I'm gonna. I don't want to. No, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just blow that piece off and just grind it away and just replace it and buck it out completely. Put in my own piece in there. I believe you can order evergreen directly from them. You can. Same with KNS. Yeah, see, I don't understand that. You're going to need a bigger boat. I know I am. But Mike, so yes, the recommendation would be bring as much of that styrene with you as possible. And it sounds like you will have some people who will be buying it. So I'm not going to swear that you're going to sell all of it, but if you can do it, bring it. You know, one of the things that I guess really bores me going to a show when it comes to the vendor side of things, everybody wants to sell models. Everybody wants to sell models. And I understand that's the core of what we do. But it's like, what about, like, this is one of the things I like about boomers, you know, or the stuff that Mike brings. Mike brings tools. Unless I really, really, really see a model that I want. And even then, I'll do a second pass just to make sure, do I really want it? Most of the time I passed. But tools, on the other hand, if I see a tool, it's like, ooh, that I can use. And I actually am in need of tools. I'm hoping somebody's bringing thin cement with them. Hobby Lobby is the only place they have 3 rod tube options at the same. Wow, see, I don't understand that. You're in the fucking greater Houston area. There's got to be somebody. Not a lot of people using it. Also, architects these days no longer use PLA as much as they. Yeah, exactly, Tom. PLA struct. Yeah, probably not a lot of that getting moved around. But then again, what are they doing? Are they just 3D printing everything? If you're still building a static model, you know, even if you're not designing in styrene, but if you're building a styrene model based on your plans, aren't you? Don't you still need to build it on something? But I guess to your point, maybe it's all gone to 3D. We become a game toy store more than a hobby shop. Models we sell are Warhammer, D&D, Bandai. Yeah, that would make sense. Hey, Mike, whatever keeps the doors open. Or laser cutting in thinner MDF for architects. I don't know. I honestly, that's a good question. Might have to talk to a couple of my architect buddies. Tools and supplies should be the biggest. I would not disagree with you. But again, I'm also not the guy selling stuff. Mike knows a lot more. The vendors who are out there selling stuff know a lot more. It is showing it on the screen with 3D modeling. I don't know. I think there's still something to be said about some organizations having like a 3D model. It may not be as prevalent, but I think that is the case. See around me. I'm sure some shop does, but it's not worth the hour drive when I can order it. That's, you know what? You just fair enough. And that's why people like, I don't understand why hobby shops are closing. I don't understand why there aren't any model clubs. Why are there no clubs around me? Because and Nick, please understand, this actually came up as a conversation topic last week on our Region 1 meeting about people going to meetings. Oh God, it's like an hour drive. And then you hear from the guys in Brooklyn who are going, 2+ hours each way to get to a meeting. What is it that drives somebody to say, oh, half hour is too much? And then somebody else saying, oh God, 2 hours, I definitely do 2 hours plus. And it's the same thing, I think, with supporting a hobby shop. If we're like, and like, please understand, I'm not attacking you, but I've heard this argument plenty of times. I would rather buy from a local shop than order I need some thin cement. I'm not going to buy thin cement online. I will wait till I go to PatCon, or if there's no show coming up like I was planning on, I would go to one of the shops, go up to Mecca Warehouse, go down to Gundam Pros, go over to Hobby Bunker, take your pick. All right. Thanks. I'm going to just stop here in just a second. That has now been removed. Yep, removed. Sorry, guys. Let's see for architects. I'm just showing it on screen. Oh, I did see around me. It shows much more accurate design. It does. And then you can 3D print from that design until spring 2027 anyways. And that is and then that's the finality of it, Mike. 3 effing days. Plenty of time to get stuff done. When they showed the new world, it was basically all 3D. Yeah, virtual 3D, but you still wouldn't you want to see like a model of it in the center there of what it's going to look like? I've been saying Bandai would be making a crap ton of money for Bandai 3D printers and recycling tree boxes. Yeah. I think, Joe, that is in the future, but that means people are going to have to transition away for how they glue stuff together or snap stuff together. You can do a lot more cleanup depending on the printer. I think we're almost there, but we're not quite there yet. Printers are going to have to make things like butter smooth. You can't have any kind of ridging. But yes, I think the writing is on the wall, and you're right, Joe. Half hour is too much because kids. Yeah, I disagree with that. But the point is, and I disagree with that. I'll get to that in a second. Let me see. Have you achieved your dream in life? Maybe. I know I'm vague on my answers because it's like, what's the dream? Like making $1 billion or becoming famous or, working in Hollywood? Or, yeah, no, actually, dreams change. I'm very happy that I've got, in some ways, yes. I love my wife and I love my kids. I'm very happy for that. Did everything on the computer. Good evening, Edwin. Good evening. How are you? Gio hasn't achieved his dream. He hasn't hit one. And I never will. Try to shop at my friend local stores as much as I can. Buying online is the last resort. Hello, Tom. You wanting a 3D model is thinking like a boomer. You got to save the planet according to Gen Alpha. Maybe. Hoping for big changes in 2027. Mike, I hope that you are correct then. I hope it works out. I think 3D printing is a great tool, but it's not the only tool. And it's also not ready for prime time. I just don't think it's quite there yet. For an experienced modeler, there's a lot of cleanup, but for younger modelers, it's not there yet. So with all that being said, the point is 45 minutes too far to drive if you got kids? Maybe. But keeping in mind that, and this is why I think clubs have to meet people halfway. And part of that halfway is that we do Zoom meetings. This is why we have Zoom meetings. So you can't make the monthly meeting, we can do a Zoom meeting. There has to be a connection to an organization. Because unfortunately, yes, I do understand that people's lives are busy, and I say it all the time. I can't go to every show that I want to go to. But I'm going to go out of my way. I'm going to drive, just like Dwayne's coming up. I'm going 3 hours to Poughkeepsie to go to the Hudson Valley show. Also, online shops got me into the hobby. Busy. That's funny because for me it was the complete opposite. Because I had all the good shops we had around us. Unfortunately, they're not there now. But even then, if I want to get anything, I'll just go up to Mecca Warehouse. It's an hour drive, but I'll do that drive. In fact, I got to go up there, pick up some stuff. Busy day. I think we're going to stop model today. I think we're just going to read the rest of these comments. Client has 3D model printing kits. Nice. Ready with all them to print some gifts for them. Finishing up commission paint. Nice. There's a lot of cool stuff you can 3D print for kids today, which is awesome. Thin cement, you say? I start packing product today. Yeah, Mike, I need a Tamiya extra thin, please. This is why, again, this is the reason why I like supporting my locals as much as possible. I'm not saying this because Mike is here. I love when with Turn 4, not only because they were very convenient and close to me, but because they went out of their way to help their customers. And that's something that you can't get in an online purchase. I've seen some crazy 3D prints, but the cleanup is crazy. Yep. That's a great discussion. Which one are we talking about, Dwayne? Sorry, we've had a few here. Oh, I get the job. I can really... Nice 3D printer. Nice. I participate in RVA virtual build nights. Exactly. Then if you want, I can print the spear. For that one, kid, I don't remember which one. Oh, yes, I know which one you're talking about. Looking right at it right now. Hey, Clint, good morning. Oh, I need supplies. Supplies. Hoping it comes down. I like that guy. Which Nick are we talking about? Nick from Mecca Warehouse. You talking about Nick from Mecca Warehouse? Yeah, he'll come to the show. I'd love to get him to participate in the show, but he always comes to the show. And hopefully this year he'll do the same. George, I forgot to tell you that I bought a new 3D printer yesterday. Nice. And it was a dream machine. I can recommend this one for you. Which one is it? Bamboo A1 Mini. There's the regular A1 with bigger build plate. Awesome. And that's the one I've been looking at, so I appreciate it. That's a filament printer. Is that correct, Edwin? Good. Getting closer to getting my new job, then I can afford all the PLA and 3D printers. From your mouth to God's ears, I'm praying for you, Nick. Definitely miss having Turn 4 closer, and a big part of the environment they created, and not just because they were a hobby shop. Absolutely. And that's why, and Ray, you bring up such an important, that's the core of it. Whether it's a model shop or a club, if it's a place where you can come together and it's like, man, I love coming here because of the experience, not the buying experience, but the experience of being around other people. Is it not worth the drive? And I understand that it can't always be done, especially when people have young kids or family to take care of. I understand that. Jobs, all of it has a way of impeding. But I also know from my own experience that we sometimes put that impediment in our way. Oh, that's an hour drive. Oh, well, my daughter might need to have something done. Or, I've had a long day at work. Fuck it. You got to at some point just say, I'm going to do this, And for me, I know how important and I'm going to say it was the sessions at Gundam Pros, the sessions at Turn 4, and thankfully the Patriot thing came about. It's what's made this hobby entertaining. It's actually what's allowed me to do this. Filament printers are getting better. That's what I want. I don't want a resin printer. I want a filament printer. And until one gets to, and I've got, where's this figure? I have a figure here that was printed for me by Austin, and it is fabulous in terms of quality. Pre-COVID days at Turn 4 was exactly what we wanted our shop to be. All the events, everyone had so much fun. Absolutely, Mike. And I hope that if, depending on what the future is for your hobby town, I hope that continues in some fashion. If you get to bring back one thing that you've lost, what would it be? It could be anything, your health, hair models, anything. My parents. You know, those who've come before. Geo with hair again would be funny. Geo with hair again would be funny. You guys have seen photos of it. Complaining about something being an hour away is definitely an East Coast thing. Yeah, absolutely. But then again, we got Nick here too, who's like, oh, it's an hour drive into Houston. It's like, yeah, do it. Sorry, I'm picking on you again, Nick. It is East Coast thing or a big city thing. It doesn't matter. You know, if something is important enough to you and you understand that it's not just to you, but it's also important enough to the community, do it. You know, there are days, it's like every Friday night that we do, and I'm laying some of this stuff out. Every Friday night that we do our monthly in-person meeting, it's usually at the end of a week. I'm fucking exhausted and I'm trying to make it through. But when I get there, I fake it. Partly, I'm enjoying myself, but it's like I'm just trying to stay awake. For pick away. Nah, only in the best of ways. You could even bring back JFK or George Washington. My parents, they had much more influence and impact on me than those two did. Okay, maybe Jesus Christ, but then he doesn't need me to bring him back. He can come back whenever he wants. It's up to him. Long drive to be annoying. I looked at it as therapy. I hate driving, and this is coming. I hate driving. Hate it, but I'd still do it if it makes sense for an organization. You know, the next 4 weekends, like I said, I'm going to shows. Partly because my wife is out of town, my kids have got their things going on, but I'm going to shows. And I hope to continue that process next year. I'm hoping to go down to either ODO or Nationals, and I'm hoping to go up to the Rochester show next year. But at the same time, on a more local fashion, I mean, it's an hour drive for me to get to our meeting in Billerica, 45 minutes. It just comes with the territory. I never thought I wanted to be annoying. The East Coast is a metropolis. It's city after city. Everything packed in Midwest is very open. Yeah. My wife was annoyed at things being an hour away. Where do you meet your wife? Locally. And SkeeterCon. Possibly SkeeterCon. It's more likely I'll do MosquitoCon than I will do ODO for a couple different reasons. Doesn't matter if it's 10 miles or 30 miles, it takes an hour. But that's it. Then do the hour and a half. Go meet up with some fun people. Tom, go hang out with the Long Island boys. I'll never forget one. He once told me anywhere he went, he never felt he belonged. He said that from day one at Turn 4, it always felt like home and welcome. Absolutely. Mike, you guys know how to do this. You guys know how to build an organization in that regard. Mrs. Gundam has parole officer after his first prison stint. Went to the next town yesterday to get a flat black. It was only paint sold out at the store. Isn't that the way it works? All right, guys, time for me to roll. All right. Stay safe and stay sane, everybody. Thanks for being on this morning. I do appreciate it. Good conversations all around. No, next to no modeling. Yes, next to no modeling, but at least the conversation flowed well. All right, guys, go out there and do good. Continue these great conversations with everybody out there. Have good conversations. Brighten the world. Dangerous world, man. It's dangerous. It's every day getting that much worse. Show kindness and love to people and respect and just do right. I'll be back on tomorrow, same time, same channel. Enjoy the day, guys. Love you all. Peace.